Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to Nat Scraps. My name is Natalie Koenig. I am a paper crafter and I love creating things that I can share with you guys. I hope you guys will stick around and see where today's little adventure takes us. I'm using the uniquely creative Enchanted Forest Collection, and it is truly enchanted. It is beautiful. Now, in my mind, I have kind of a little bit of an idea of what I want to do with these papers. And it is to create sort of like a layout where it looks like it's being torn open and you're finding all this good stuff underneath. We'll see if I actually get there, guys. I hope you'll stick around and see what I end up creating. I'm pointing to the back of that because it's a cut out sheet, and I really like those for all the added bits and pieces that you can get out of that. I'm looking at this little fairy and I kind of want this fairy in and behind where I create. And I think about it for a while and think I'm going to cut another bit off, and then I go, nope, I'm going to slide it in here behind. My next step is that I'm going to create the bit that I'm going to kind of tear away. And a little trick here is to have a water brush and to draw a line roughly where you want the paper to be torn. You can see here I'm just kind of marking off where I want it, and I'm going over a couple of times with that water brush and let the water soak in. Now, the advantage of this is that when I go to tear, it's going to want to tear along that line and not just go off willy-nilly and tear wherever it wants, because we've all done that before where we've thought, I'm just going to tear this, and you start the tear and then all of a sudden the tear goes a little bit AWOL and we end up tearing where we don't want it. I'm going to come down the bottom and I'm going to repeat that kind of technique down the bottom. Now, the only reason I've got the T-square there is I don't want to go below where that paper's sitting. So I'm in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going below the level of that paper. So I've had the T-square there so I don't go willy-nilly and tear where I do, or put the tear line where I don't want it or need it. Here I'm placing those back onto the sheet and I'm kind of getting a feel for what area it's going to cover. And I do a little slip up here, guys. I go to cut this piece of paper. I kind of mark it. I think I even grab a pencil and kind of mark it. Here we go. See that good little mark? Do you think when I threw that into the trimmer, I actually used that mark? Here I go. No, I get nearly all the way through cutting that piece of paper when I realize I've cut the wrong bit. So I'm going to stick that back together. In the end, guys, like, I think I would find it really hard to even find where that line was. One, the paper is really grungy, and two, I put lots of embellishments on and that is not seen. Thankfully for me, because I did stuff up a little there. Now I'm going in and kind of make sure that it's going to sit okay on my base, which is going to be a piece of white card. And I'm just trimming the pieces off that I don't need. Now, in the end, I probably went a little bit skinny on this. It meant that I could only tear sort of down a little bit more, like I kind of do a bit of ruffling and stuff. So I could have left a little bit more on, but these are the things you find out when you're creating. You can see here I'm sort of like rubbing and moving that paper a little bit, and I could have left a little bit there. Now I am only taping these on the bottom of these two strips of paper. That's so I can go back in. I'm going to use a lot of foam tape on this layout, and I'm going to use a lot of dimension in different pieces. So I've popped a piece at the top and the bottom, and you'll see in a moment that I will come back in with foam tape. I'm popping a photo holder there. I'm not putting the photo on for this video. Sometimes I don't. They're either photos that are going to be of other kids, so not mine, or I just don't have a photo in mind at that stage and I'm going to put it on later. But I am putting a little photo holder there so I know exactly where my photo in my mind is going to go. Now I'm just trimming this one down so it's the same width as the other pieces. And isn't that a beautiful little slip of paper with the fairy and the deer and all that magic behind it? And in my mind, somebody has kind of just torn back a section and seen the magic behind the world, behind the front there. And that's what's kind of in my mind as I'm creating. So now I know roughly where my photo is going to go and roughly where I want that piece of paper. I'm going to put some tape on the back of that. Now, I could have put glue and not had to move everything. Don't know why I did it the way I did. Hey, sometimes I just do things differently. You can see where I cut that paper to. It made it easier to move that paper out of the way. Promise you won't see it in the end. Please have a really good hard look at the final photos, see if you can see it. Here we're popping back the photo, and now I'm going to bring in some foam tape, I believe. A bit of a pause here. Might have gone for a cup of coffee even. Who knows at this stage? Where am I and what am I doing? Here's the foam tape. I had to go get a new roll. That's what the problem was. I should have edited that out. I do apologize. And here, see, I'm just going around that edge. So I want that to be kind of lifted up and look like it's kind of half sitting on there. And I'm going to put that in there. And you see on that corner too, I want that so that corner looks like it's lifting up a little bit as well. Here, there was a tiny little bit hanging over, so I've just cut that little sliver off so everything looks nice and matching. What I'm going to do, girls, next, girls and guys, sorry, I should not presume everybody watching is a girl. Here I'm going to go through, these are the creative cuts that come or that you can get as an add-on for the collection, and I have gone through all these and I'm just pulling out little bits and pieces and trying to see what I want to add around my photo. And I want it to be quite cluttered in my mind. There's going to be quite a lot of little bits and pieces, and as if really that fairy tale land is just popping out. So I'm bringing in lots of tags. There's some mushrooms. There's little flowers that are in the cut apart, the creative cuts in this collection. And I do go back, you'll notice there's a little bit of the cut apart sheet up on the top of the screen. I'll go back and I'll get some details out of that, as well as there's some other papers in the collection that have little bits and pieces as well. So I am going to make use of all those different things. This little mousey warms my heart. Got a beautiful little flower that he's carrying around with me. I know a couple of my girls have said, oh, mouses, who wants a mouse on their page? But he does, he looks very, very cute. And who doesn't like the mice in Cinderella that come and help her make her dress? Honestly, they can be okay as long as they're not in my house eating my pantry food. Until they come into my house, they're all good. Here I am using that piece of paper I was talking about, and we're just cutting a couple of details out of that and popping them into the layout as well. Now, these things move around as I go, but as you'll notice when I go to start putting these on, there's lots of dimension. I am going to put foam tape behind the photo, so it looks like the photo sits behind where it's tucked in, but raises a bit over the top of that rib. So everything's kind of spilling out of my page in reality. And let me know, I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know if you think this works, or yeah, any of those things I'd love to hear. Here I'm just fussy cutting a couple of little details, and really should leave some of that fussy cutting out because I tend to do it off to the side, or I tend to bring it away off my bench so it doesn't get all over my work, and you guys never see it anyway. And I'm so aware of it when I'm actually editing my photos, how much I do that fussy cutting away from my camera. So yeah. Here is that photo mat, and I've just added a little bit of green behind this. And if you have not used the Uniquely Creative cardstock, it is so deliciously lovely and thick and beautiful and textured. So many beautiful things about their core color cardstocks. They are so nice. Okay, yep, and this is where I was saying that I'm putting foam tape on the back and then sliding under. The next is the yep, I'm just adding back in these things. I had to think where I was up to right then. And a lot of the time you'll see when I pop these things in that I put a bit of the glue underneath and then I'll put a little bit of the foam tape at the top. And again, it's just looking like they're popping out of that little pocket that I've created. And I'm trying not to cover up my fairy and that cute little deer too much. I'm trying to enhance and create a little world around them. I'm not trying to cover them up too much. So you'll see I kind of work around them. There's these beautiful blue, bluey green flowers in the cut apart sheets and in the papers for this collection, and I just love that kind of darker greeny blue color. It really speaks to my heart. The other thing I like is that the flowers aren't too pink in this. Quite often I see when they bring in flowers they're really quite pinkies, but this has a really nice kind of apricot-y colors going into it, like a slightly burnt orange or something like that. So it's got a little bit of different coloring in the collection. The full collection is absolutely stunning. If you are not in Australia, if you are overseas, because this is an Australian company with that are made in Australia. If you are overseas, I know these are available in America, and if you're having trouble locating them, let me know. They were at Creativention recently, so I know there's quite a few places stocking them, but if you're having trouble, drop me a message and I can find out from the company what is available where for you and when. But yeah, just drop me a message and I will get back to you eventually. It probably won't be within the hour, but I will eventually get there. And just a little bit more tuck in and that, guys, and this is getting close to finish. It is just the finishing details where I add just tiny little bits here and there. I do go into another piece where I grab a couple of other mushrooms out, I think, because I feel like there's one little solitary mushroom on the other side and I need a little bit extra. And I think I go into this piece and grab another mushroom from there. And I think I've got the extra mousy, and now I'm trying to find where I'm going to put it. And I will come back and remove that other little mushroom from there in a second and put it on top. So, and as I'm popping these pieces in, I'm very aware that somebody is going to want to pop, whether it's me or somebody that I give this layout to, will want to pop a photo in there. So I'm making sure that I'm not attaching those things. You can probably see that at the moment those mushrooms keeps popping up and I keep kind of pushing them down. That's because I'm not adhering them all the way down over where that photo is going to be, because I don't want to make it harder for anybody to put a photo on this layout. So I'm leaving those pieces unattached in those areas. I believe I bring another hummingbird in on the other side just to complement the one that's there. I keep trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to put my little title, which is fairy tale, whether I'm going to go up higher or down just a little bit lower. It does have the bunting underneath, so I want to kind of decide where that's going and how I'm going to attach it. I think about adding this up here. I don't believe I do. I think I get rid of it. We'll put it aside in a second. We are getting very close. I hope you've enjoyed this one and that it's inspired you to either pull out some papers that are similar or grab this collection and start creating. I know over on the Uniquely Creative blog there's loads and loads of layouts made with this collection, and there are so many stunning layouts there as well. Okay, I thought I was nearly done. I am just adding, I will put a bit of rationale behind this, because I've got touches of that bluey, dark bluey green color on the left and the right down the bottom. I wanted to add some up into that top right hand corner just to balance out, and your eye then makes that triangle with those colors around the page. So that's why I went back and made the effort to put a flower up in that right hand corner. It kind of doesn't make sense sometimes why I do tiny little things like that, take things apart and then put them back together when they're all sitting there and look fine. But in my mind, it needed a little touch of blue up there. And I think these are the last couple of things. I think fairy tales are the last thing to go on then, guys. So what I will have a slow down and a close-up of the page, and then that will be the last thing. Before then, thank you for watching. If you haven't hit the like button, the subscribe button, or left a comment, I'd love it if you did one of those or all three of those things. That just helps this channel. I'm a very, very tiny channel. So if you can help me to grow, that would be amazing. And please drop a comment. Let me know what you're thinking, and I will get back to you. I will answer eventually. Okay, it's all on, and with the magic of YouTube, my table is going to get completely cleaned up, and we're going to have that slow down here for you. And here we go. Whoops. we are. I'll see. There we are. Thank you so much, guys, for listening, and just in time, because my husband is going to drive a truck past my window and make it really hard for me to finish the video off. Have a wonderful day, guys, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.